Hi everyone, and welcome back to Stamp with Anna. And today I'm going to show you a card that I've made with the Party Pandas stamp set. This stamp set is available for free during Celebration, which runs through March 31st. With any qualifying order of $50 or more, you can choose this stamp set as your free gift from Stampin' Up. You still have time to get it. It does end, like I said, March 31st, so you have about another 6 weeks left. And this is just an adorable little stamp set. And usually I post on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I am off from work this week. It's February vacation and I work in a school, so I am really hoping that I'm going to be able to sit down and post 5 times this week, and hopefully each one will show you a new project made with the Party Panda stamp set. And this is today's stamp set. This is today's card, and I think it's just adorable. It's a variation of a card that I saw online that this, instead of being flat, was an actual little note card, and maybe I'll get to that this weekend, during the week. But I chose to do it just as this extra border. And the way it opens up, you have this cute little ribbon, and when you open it up, you have that flap, and there is your sentiment. And this is just so cheery. And although it's got a little panda and it has all these great bright colors, I don't necessarily think that it's just for a little child. I think this would be great for an adult as well, certainly a tween, and just anyone. Actually, it's so bright and cheery. There are a lot of moving parts to it, and there are a lot of measurements, but instead of sitting here and showing you all the pieces of paper and telling you what they're cut at, I'm going to tell you their dimensions as I go through the video, and then the link down below that takes you to my blog will have a list of all of the measurements. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that I have is a piece of thick Whisper White, and this is cut at 10 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2. So that it gives you the same size of a regular A2, and then you just have this extra flap for the decorative piece there. So again, it is 10 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2. Now, when you score and you fold over, if you're off a little bit, just shave a hair off of this and it'll close beautifully. So that is our card base. The next thing we have is our mats for the outside, for this piece here and this piece here. And this paper is the Bubbles and Fizz Designer Series paper, and this also is a free product during Celebration with a $50 order. So you can get this paper for free, and I just love the bright colors in this. It has Bermuda Bay, Calypso Coral, Key Lime Twist, and Daffodil Delight, and a little bit of basic gray. And I'll be honest with you, I almost never used Bermuda Bay until I got this paper and this whole package of paper. I've been using Bermuda Bay every time I use this paper because it's just so bright. But in any event, the front piece here, the Bermuda Bay, is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and the Designer Series paper is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and that makes up the front. The pieces for the flap, the Bermuda Bay is 1 3/8 by 5 3/8, and the Designer Series paper is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to attach those with a little bit of snail. Okay, so a little bit of snail. And it's just a tiny border. And that's going to go on my flap. again, a tiny border. And then I'm going to do the same with the front piece. Now, when I go put this on the front of my card, I want to make sure that it's going to line up with this part so that it's straight across. So very carefully, being careful not to press down on this side, I'm just going to line that up and then move my flap. And that way, my tops and my bottoms line up beautifully. Okay? And there's that part of the card. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make this front flap. And the teddy bear is stamped on a piece of Whisper White, which is cut at 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. Before I stamp my teddy bear, I'm going to stamp my happy birthday so that I know that I leave myself enough room. So the happy birthday also comes from the Party Pandas set, and I'm going to stamp that in Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to bring it right about here. Okay, and now I'm going to ink up my teddy bear, and I'm going to use black, basic black, and here's my teddy bear. And that is archival ink, so the stamp pad is a felt pad, so you do need to work it a little more to ink it all up, as opposed to the foam pads, which a tap, tap, tap is sufficient. So now I'm going to line this up where I want it, and the square is just the right size, so you do need to be careful when you stamp that. Okay. There's my teddy bear. Okay, so there's my little panda. Now, I'm going to make this little strip. I wanted a little something along the side here. And this striped paper is also from that Bubbles and Fizz paper stack. So what I'm going to do with a little bit of liquid glue, Tombow here, I'm going to attach that. And this is cut at, let me see, 1/4 by 3 3/8. And I'm going to mat it on a piece of Bermuda Bay, which is cut at 3/8 by 3 3/8. You can make that as long or as wide or as short or as skinny as you want when you're designing your card. And I'm just going to make sure that they line up nicely, so I'm going to trim that off. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow on the back of that and attach that to the side here. Now, before I mat this onto the Bermuda Bay, I have to attach some ribbon to it. So here is the mat that goes behind this, and this is cut at 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to take some snail, and I'm going to put a little bit of ribbon a little bit of snail right there. And I have some Calypso Coral seam binding ribbon, and I'm just going to put that right there. And then I'm going to cut a good size. I don't know how much I'm going to need, so I'm going to cut a good generous amount. And now I'm going to mat this on that. So I'm going to get a little bit of snail. And I can see this sticks out just a tad here, so I'm going to just give that a snip. And now I'm going to mat this in the middle here. Alright, and I'm going to put that aside. Now, I need to put a little bit of ribbon on this side as well. So right here, I'm going to add some snail. I'm going to put some ribbon right here, and I'm going to wrap it along the back here, and then I'm going to cut myself a piece right there. And this piece is going to go right there. So what I want to do is I just want to put snail on this part right here. I'm going to put a little bit extra over my ribbon so that I know my ribbon is going to be nice and secure. Let me just fix that nice. Straighten that out. There we go. And now I'm going to put this, I'm going to butt this right up against that Bermuda Bay there. I'm going to press. And there's our card. Now what I need to do is the inside. Now normally it's a white card, a white base, and I would just leave it as that. But because it's so bright, the rest of the card is so bright, I thought that I would matte the inside of my card as well. So on my piece of Whisper White, which is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, I am going to stamp a sentiment, and this is coming from the Special Celebration stamp set, and I love this. I was so glad to see that Stampin' Up! Had come out with the stamp set that was just all verbiage for the insides. And this one says, hope your day brings you just what it should, happiness, health, and everything good. So I'm going to stamp that up with Calypso Coral, because I do want to bring in some Calypso Coral into the card. I'm going to just drop that right there. And now I'm going to mat that on a piece of Bermuda Bay, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And again, just a tiny mat on that. That's my new thing lately. And I'm going to drop that right there in the middle. And I think it does make such a nice addition, don't you think? So now I'm going to fold it over and tie a bow here on the side. I'll play with that a little bit and trim my tails. I want to trim them, but I want to keep them long enough so that I can retie the bow. And you know, as I'm looking at this, I think the card is lovely, but I think I'm going to add something to it. I'm never done, right? So hold on one second. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in my Calypso Coral Stampin' Right marker. And I'm going to color my balloon. Nothing fancy. I'm just going to color it with the thick end, the thick tip of the marker. Oh, I do like that. And then I'm going to bring in some jewels. And let me just find my pokey tool. I'll bring in some jewels, and I think I will put 2, actually 3. I like to do things in odd numbers. Oh. I'm going to add 3 little jewels there. Okay, last minute design change. And there we have it, a cute little birthday card. Again, perfect for a child as well as a tween and as well as an adult. I just think it's so bright and cheery. So I hope you enjoyed this card. And if you have any questions at all about this project or any of the products that I've used, certainly contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And like I said, this paper here and this stamp set is yours for free with a qualifying $50 order through March 31st. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and I hope to be back tomorrow with another Party Panda project.